Hello, Cancerman COINTELPRO, coming on once again addressing Tinker Tot's Meatloaf. And the reason why I'm doing this has nothing to do with anything on your channel. And I'm sure you know that. It has to do with something on my channel. Well, PM. But you're saying, Tinker, Meatloaf, you're saying that you think that Dark Zodiac Exposer is myself, is me.
One lifetime span of a person, a human being, which is dedicated to study, to shaping up the outlook, ideology, personality. No more, no less. Usually it takes from 15 to 20 years. What it includes? It includes influencing, or by various methods, infiltration, propaganda methods, direct contacts, doesn't really matter. I will describe them later. Of various areas where public opinion is formulated or shaped. Religion, educational system, social life, administration, law enforcement system, military, of course, and labor and employer relations, economy. Okay? 5 areas. I will not write them down because we will not have enough space. Sometimes when I describe all the methods, students ask me question, are you sure this is the result of the Soviet influence? Not necessarily. You see, the tactic of subversion, about which I'm talking, is similar to the martial art, the Japanese martial art. If some of you are familiar with that tactic, probably you will remember that if an enemy is bigger and heavier than yourself, it would be very painful to resist his direct strike. If a heavier person wants to strike me in the face, it would be very naive and counterproductive to stop his blow. The Chinese and Japanese judo art tells us what to do. First to avoid the strike, then to grab the fist and continue his movement in the direction where it was before, right? Until the enemy crashes in the wall. You see? So, what happens here? The target country obviously does something wrong. If it's a free democratic society, there are many different movements within the society. There obviously, in every society, there are people who are against this society. They may be simple criminals, ideologically in disagreement with the state policy, conscientious enemies, simply psychotic personalities who are against anything, right? And finally, there are a small group of agents of a foreign nation, bought, subverted, recruited, right? The moment all these movements will be directed in one direction, right? This is the time to catch that movement and to continue it until the movement forces the whole society into collapse, into crisis, right? So that's exactly the martial art tactic. We don't stop an enemy. We let him go. We help him to go in the direction we want them to go.
It's my desire. It's my desire. It's my desire. You can zoom all the way in, put your center on the Earth. No matter how you look at this thing from any angle, no matter how you spin it, this thing appears to impact Earth. You can see there's the Earth and there's the asteroid. You fast forward that thing, November 9.
in Revelations, I think chapter 9. No, chapter 8. In chapter 8, it talks about the moon being struck, and the moon, 1/3 of the moon gets struck, and then, it's away, like 1/3 of the moon's gone. So maybe this Y55 will make that happen.
2005 YO55 could be a spaceship. It could be an alien shipping everywhere. That asteroid could be a spaceship.
Okay, so it was easy to conclude when the facts were put before you that a Linin is an artificially controlled so-called comet. But then I always maintained that a Linin was a timeline, and could it be related to YU55? Well, it could be. You see, a Linin and YU55 excuse me, were at perihelion, the closest point to its sun, to the sun, on the same date, which just so happened to be September 11th, which is an interesting date. So there seems to be a relationship between a Linin and YU55, and not just the fact that they were at perihelion on the same date. Okay, but do your research and conclude for yourself. It's very odd.
What do you think of my thoughts? It's not if, but when.
Oh, you're absolutely correct. I mean, we know there's no danger from this object right now, and actually, as we can track its orbit out for the sort of foreseeable future on the sort of century sort of timeline, but the very fact that this object is making a close approach to the Earth now means it probably has in the past, and long into the distance will, and if not this object, objects like it, absolutely, we're going to be hit by one of these things one of these days.
Well, I've always said it's not a matter of if, but when will we get hit by an asteroid? Could happen tomorrow, could happen a year from now, could not happen in our lifetime. But one day, I'm convinced it will happen, because Earth has been hit before, and it'll happen again.
I'm so sorry. I'm so medicated that I'm like sitting here trying to read and research, and I'm like, nothing is staying in my head. But there's been a lot of changes going on with this YU55 comet. Look up in the sky. If you see something bright coming, hide in your basement and pray. No, I don't know. I'm gonna stay very much in prayer these next couple of days. I don't know. I haven't had any dreams, and I haven't really heard. I don't have any intuition that's telling me something bad's going to happen, but there are so many coincidences, and it's just kind of mind-boggling. Like, they're doing all of this government testing right now at the same time that this asteroid's supposed to be coming in, so they want to keep everything as hush as possible and deal with it afterwards, right? Glenn Beck was actually quoted, I can't remember when he gave this speech, and I've heard this like even on talk radio a lot, that something big was supposed to happen in the year 2011, and it would take 15 days for our economic system to collapse completely. So if something, let's say this comet does hit somewhere and cause a huge tsunami, or war starts all of a sudden tomorrow or something, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I want everyone to be as prepared as possible, be it spiritually, emotionally, physically. Do what you need to do to protect yourself and your family.
I took the alphabet, okay? And then, of course, let's see, A would be 1, B would be 2, C would be 3, and then you get down to Z would be 26. You know how it is. You can do this at home, okay? It's no big deal. And then what I did is I wrote down on a piece of paper YU55 and the year in which it's upon us, which is 2011, okay? Now, if you take the number for Y, it would be the number 25. All right? Just like so. If you take the number for U of the alphabet, it would be the number 21. And then, of course, you just add the 55 from the YU55. Now, this is the part that I didn't clarify in the first video. This is why I'm making the second video. If you add separately, okay, by column, the numbers, okay, that equates to 9, 11. Now, if you take the 2 and the 5 from the Y and add 2 and 5 together, that equates to the number 7. If you take the 2 and the 1 from the U, that equates to the number 3. If you add 5 and 5 together, that makes 10. If you add 7, 3, and 10 together, okay, that gives you the number 20. Just like so. Now there's a replication of the number 20, a replication of the number 11, with the number 9 right in the center. So I hope that, you know, helped you out a little bit better than last time.
I know that pretty much all of us watchers and even a lot of other people around the world have been talking about the movie Deep Impact and what's in it. Last night, put it this way, the Lord finally led me to the clip that I needed to see. I'm just going to let you know that I had tried to go to Blockbuster a few weeks back to get the movie Deep Impact. Coincidentally, lo and behold, they no longer had that movie to rent. Thought that was really odd, don't you? What's going to happen on Wednesday with this FEMA warning, okay? In my spirit, and even based on the movies, even based on Deep Impact and this, that, and the other, I don't think the very first warning is going to be like the big bang, bam, bam warning, okay? I think the first warning, they're not going to even put it out like a test. They're going to let you know it's a warning. But I think they're going to downplay it a little bit. And then I believe that from 11/9, which of course is 9/11 backwards and forward. 11/9 is 9/11 backwards and forwards. 11/9 through, I believe, 11/11 to 11/12. Like I'm going to say 11/9 to 11/11. I believe what's going to happen is they're going to come back on the air again within 24 to 48 hours, and that's going to be the real warning. Okay, whatever they're going to say on Wednesday, you guys, is going to be very key. But I don't think it's going to be the final warning. A couple of months ago, is that the Mayan calendar did not end in December 21st, 2012 at 11/11. That was a bunch of crap to keep you from being prepared. The Mayan calendar ended October 28th, 2011. Just do the numerology. Besides that, now we all know it because the Mayans are touring the United States right now with the skulls, with the ancient skulls, calling out all the demons.
Earlier this year, I released a series of videos on the New World Order's agenda to speed up Armageddon. The Chinese agenda will come into question also, because if you've noticed, everything has been happening as a series of coincidences. I'll tell you the truth. You don't take my word for it. Go on Make Electric's video. It's the first one in my favorites. He put the link to JPL's planetary graph. No matter how you spin that map, YU55 comes into contact with the Earth.